Today's episode of This Week in Startups is brought to you by Moo, an online print and design company that helps you stand out and make a lasting first impression. Stand out like an IPO-bound idea at a hackathon with premium business cards from Moo.com. Moo creates premium quality, customizable business cards and promotional materials. The range of high-quality cards, top-notch paper, and exclusive design templates make it easy to create a business card as memorable as you. For extra wow, try Printfinity, giving you the option to print a different image on every card. Stand out with Moo.com. And by LeadGenius, higher quality leads and customized customer data at scale. Schedule a free demo at leadgenius.com/twist. Today's episode comes to you from Launch Festival 2015. Jason chats with Gary Vaynerchuk, the CEO and co-founder of VaynerMedia, and one of the most prominent voices around marketing, branding, and social media in the country. The host is at Jason, and we are at TWiST Startups on Twitter.
That's what it's all about, man. They said, money is the root of all evil. What? Funny how it feeds my people. Yeah. We ain't gonna live like equals until we get the money, spend the money, and defeat you. Yeah. Money is the root of all evil. What? Funny how it feeds my people. Yeah. We ain't gonna live like equals until we get the money, spend the money, and defeat you.
Please welcome my good friend, Gary Vaynerchuk. We've been waiting for a couple of years for Gary to come. We finally got him. He's got a lot of super fans out there. My God, back to back, Peter Thiel and Gary Vaynerchuk. Holy Jesus.
Hey, Don.
Wow, I've been waiting to get you up here. We've done a couple of podcasts together. Those were fun.
They are.
But never on stage together.
First time.
First time.
Good afternoon, everyone.
So, just by way of the last decade of your life, somewhere around 2003 or 2004 or 2005, I don't remember exactly when. It's about a decade ago. You and Kevin Rose, who was doing Dig Nation at the time, become friends.
Yes.
And you start doing little videos on the internet, talking into your camera.
Yes.
And then what happens?
Well, I mean, really what happened was, I know a small group of people here know, I grew up in the wine business. My family had a liquor business, and I pretty much grew up in Web 1.0, e-commerce, right? I built the family business. YouTube came out, and I'm like, fuck, I think this thing is gonna be huge. And I decided to start. How many people here, by show of hands, have a friend or family member that is into wine? Please raise your hands. All right, great. So
that would be everybody, 100%.
So what all of you know is that the second somebody gets just a little bit of wine knowledge, they become a straight douchebag, right? So
straight.
Yeah. So what I wanted to do was start a wine show that talked to people about wine instead of down to them. Me and Kevin became, I was 120 episodes into Wine Library TV before I met Kevin.
Right.
Obviously, because of YouTube, because my lead developer at Wine Library was telling me to read some of these blogs that were emerging, I was starting to understand who you were and all these people were, but I didn't really fully grasp it. Kev DM'd me on Twitter one day. I make a random appearance on Dig Nation, and now I'm kind of in this Web 2.0 bubble, and my life completely changes, and I become super happy because the tech space in 2005 and 6 was extremely pure, right? People were really trying to do the right thing for society. I just wanted to sell shit. So it created an interesting dynamic because I was there very businessy. Everybody else was really trying to do the right thing, and I was adjusting into that while recognizing a lot of things people were building were gonna change the way media and commerce and everything was gonna evolve into.
And this had a catalytic effect on the wine sales of the family business as it was. What was the scale of the business pre and post the web?
The business went from 3 to 40 million in my execution, and then within 24, 36 months of this new Web 2.0 stuff, went to a $60 million range. So what was crazy about that was there was no paid media behind it. It was the organic content of YouTube and then the Twitter execution that I was doing in the early days. And so it wasn't so much how much more, it was how much more with no actual financial investment. It was the awareness built by these new tools that were hitting an incredible scale organically.
And you take those tools, you become a speaker on the circuit of how to use social media, and you get this, I wake up one day and it's like, Gary Vaynerchuk sets records on this like 10 book deal, whatever it is, and you get a couple of books out. what were the books and how well did they rank? Because you became a New York Times bestseller shortly thereafter, correct?
Yeah, I mean, my principles, the book stuff was great. I mean, the wine thing got really big. A lot of people, a lot of familiar faces in the audience remember me. I was the wine guy, and I knew that what was happening was I signed with CAA, and everybody was offering me a lot of TV on Food Network and Bravo, and I didn't want to be America's wine guy. I love wine, but I love business more.
Right.
And so I started making videos around business, and the book deal was important because I got to write business books about how I was doing it, what I thought was happening, and they were an enormously strong foundation for the segue from my wine world. Crush It did extremely well. Our show was huge.
Yeah.
When I said get off the bitch train, and we had, I mean, that was an incredible moment for me, and that was a big build-up. That book sold extremely well, and I built off of that.
And then I always find out about what you're working on because somebody tells me, like, check this thing out, it's getting kind of big. You started an agency, VaynerMedia. And I think, when I first started, I was like, oh, that's cute. He's gonna be like a consultant. Great, that pays really well, congratulations.
Yep.
And then I ask you, like, hey, how's that going? And you're like, yeah, well, it's doing okay. We have like this many people. And I was like, well, that's not small. What's the scale of this business, VaynerMedia?
So I think the thing that matters to me, and probably matters to a lot of people in this room, is I don't take the fact that I'm lucky enough to sit here and talk in front of this audience lightly. I think there needs to be a reason why you would waste your time to listen to anything out of my mouth. And I felt by 2009 and 10, my persona and my speaking started overshadowing the fact that I actually built a business.
That's quite self-aware. So in a way, it's like the amount of attention you were getting
became disproportional to more people thought of me for the hyperbole that I was on stage or the way I made videos than the fact that the reason I thought I earned people's attention, which was I built a business from $3 to $60 million in a short period of time using new tactics. So I felt like I didn't want to become a caricature of myself, so I took a step back. My perfect timing, my brother AJ graduated from college, and we started VaynerMedia, and in the last 3 years when I fully jumped in, which is more 2011, 12 than 09 when we started it, we've gone from 30 to 500 people in LA, New York, and San Francisco.
So this is a huge media agency now.
Yes.
And so people come to you to do an ad campaign, or they come to you to do a social media campaign?
I mean, at the end of the day, everybody here, people pitching here, people in the audience, people writing content, whatever you do, you're selling something. All we do for Toyota or GE or Dove or PepsiCo, our big clients, is we're trying to drive what they want to happen. We think there's a disproportionate arbitrage opportunity of them spending their dollars on Facebook, Twitter, Tumblr, Pinterest, Instagram, Snapchat, instead of outdoor media, instead of even mature web products like banner ads or pre-rolls. And so, in essence, what we're doing is we're doing business execution, a mix of quant and qual, call it growth hacking and brand marketing and content marketing, mixed together with one very basic agenda of, can we sell what we need to sell?
Hey everybody, let me tell you about one of my favorite products. It's Moo. Yes, Moo is a great way to make beautiful business card designs, super, super easy, and they're beautiful, thick, and they're full of small little details that will help you stand out. Mini cards, triple thick luxe cards, and the latest edition, the letterpress. It's a full line of business stationery and promotional material that you're going to love, tons of variety, and all the products will help you break through, start conversations, and look brilliant. Printfinity gives you the ability to print a different image on text on every card, which is really clever. You can do different things with different cards, and it turns ordinary into epic. Yes, exclusive only to Moo, where you can get this variety of cards from one order. And the design is really easy to do from an extensive group of templates that are provided at no additional charge. That's right, you don't have to pay a designer a bucket-load of money to have incredibly well-designed cards anymore. And you can also upload your own masterpiece, of course, if you insist. And the stock is rich, thick, and lovely. You can really feel the difference, when you are touching a Moo car. So go ahead and visit moo.com for more details. It is a great company, and I've been using their products for literally a decade I mean, back to the Weblogs Inc. days, we would give bloggers Moo cards because they loved them so much. It's a great reward for all of your constituents to get them those business cards. It makes people feel proud, and you want people feeling proud about your company and your mission. So go ahead and go visit moo.com and thank @Moo on Twitter, and follow them on Twitter and thank them for their awesome support of This Week in Startups. Okay, let's get back to the program.
And how do you sell on Instagram, Snapchat, et cetera, without being a wine douche, right? Like, how do you, because it seems like every time one of these brands comes into the space, they do something absolutely horrific, like their 9/11 sale, and you're like, oh my God, did you just do that?
When AT&T does that, like that captures all of our attention and gets shared, and brands suck shit, but there's 365 days a year where other things are going on.
Yeah.
I think it's just, for me, the only thing I care about, and I think what everybody in this room from a startup standpoint or this boring agency talk, I think we're all in one very basic game, which is the attention graph, right? Like, where are people's attention? Are you able to find where that is? When the market moves as quickly as it's moving right now, there's always an arbitrage opportunity. There's a lot of people in this room, and this room is much sharper than the marketplace, but even in this room, there's a lot of people that headline read about what's going on Facebook or Twitter or Pinterest or Instagram, and they're not actual practitioners. All we're doing, all anybody here should do, is find where those opportunities lie, and are they good enough to communicate their value prop in that section, right? And so, for example, right now, when you look at the attention graph that I most care about, Instagram's got it, right? Everybody here is much more selective of who they follow on Instagram because they followed up in other platforms, right? They're not gonna follow just for the sake of following. They're actually consuming those things. But for a hardcore quant person in this audience, Instagram's not a great place because, as we all know, you can't link from the photo. There's a lot of friction to go to the profile and click on the profile link. It's not as quantifiable, but from a qual standpoint, are people consuming it? Are they becoming aware of things? The way branding and marketing works, not just direct sales, it's massively important. And in that friction of the smart people in this room that understand the data and the dumb people in corporate America, right?
Yeah.
Who are only into, how does it make me feel? Or I think that's pretty. There's a middle ground where all the fucking magic is.
Yeah. That's what I was going to say. But it is true, there is this huge opportunity, and people are starting to get it right. When you look at brands, whether it's yours, the ones you work with, or others, who and what impresses you on the emerging platforms like Snapchat, Twitter, Instagram?
I think Taylor Swift impresses me.
Why?
I think she understands that scaling unscalable moments is what people give a shit about.
Explain. Hold on a second. Scaling the unscalable.
Yes.
Explain.
Well, the thing that we as human beings appreciate is effort, right? Like, you know, everybody's looking to use these tools for width. We're not talking about depth enough. Depth is what actually creates things.
Yeah.
And so she's been very strategic on scaling the unscalable because she'll do things for her fan base that doesn't feel scalable. She's not doing it as much as I do.
Like these listening parties.
Yeah, or just randomly showing up or going to an award show and following what people are saying on Twitter and then finding them in the crowd and actually taking a selfie and then using her star power to get that amplified so that one moment is giving her much more reach, right?
Right.
So I think, you know, that's one person I think is hacking culture very properly as a celebrity. I think, you know, I give a lot of credit to Taco Bell. I think they've been very nimble to understand the value prop. It blew me away how long it took our space to understand what was happening on Snapchat.
Right.
A lot of my friends who made their money and their predictions and their investments and their names on being right on Facebook and Twitter and Tumblr felt really old to me 3 South Bys ago when they're like, this is a fad. I'm like, what are you talking about? You know, and so, you know, to me, Taco Bell was very early in moving into some of these places, so I give them a lot of daps.
And let's talk about Snapchat and the phenomenon of Snapchat. What is it about that platform that's speaking to that very specific young demographic?
Well, it's aging up quickly. So
it's starting to, yeah. I'm like starting
that.
to hang out there sometimes. I'm really old.
It speaks to the attention graph. It was built to actually be consumed, right? I mean, like, Jason, do you know how many people out there are so fucking tired of impressions?
Yeah.
Like, impression, you know, you can amass all the impressions you want. Like, people want actual results, and
right.
What gets results is attention. It's all depth, not width. And what Snapchat was when it came around, and still to this moment, we're really paying attention. If you're holding it, you're paying attention. And so it really won the attention graph. For the young, it wasn't their older brother or parents' platform. I mean, that will always play itself out. There will always be a Snapchat, a Yik Yak, an Instagram. As that ages up, people are gonna move. Snapchat will age up, people are gonna move. That game's gonna work because that's how kids always will be. They don't wanna be in the same places their older siblings or parents are on.
And when you look at Twitter today, obviously they edit video, so you and I have been waiting for that. You and I started playing with the Twitter video a little early. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, the reason I've been replying to so many people on video is it goes back to the thing I said about Taylor Swift, which is people want effort, right? If you take so the big revelation for me with Uber after I passed an angel round and then invested later was, holy shit, they're selling time, right? Like a lot of people here are under the makeup of investing in startup culture versus marketing. So let's get into that realm for a second. The things that so Vayner RSC, my fund, the thing that I'm trying to most invest in is people that are buying or capturing and selling back all of us time, right? So when somebody like all of us, the world, is valuing time to such a huge level, where we're paying 3, 4, 5 surge price, or we're just paying for time. It's happening everywhere around us right now.
Yeah, if we can save time because you did my Instacart, it's
100%.
Yes.
Time is the play right now. Every piece of technology that is selling back us time has an enormous value opportunity. And so I'm spending a lot of time in that world looking for those kind of deals. In this other world that you just talked about, I'm giving back my time. So the amount of time to reply to somebody, which I built my foundation on replying to so many people.
Yeah, that was kind of your hack.
Absolutely. Because it's what people want to be heard. They don't want people that sit up here just putting out their fucking thoughts and not reciprocating some sort of conversation or acknowledgement, a head nod, a wink. I sit down, hey Don, that's human. It's human. We need to act, I love the fact that we're all becoming fucking robots. I'm all in. I'll fucking put a phone in my fucking brain right now. Cool, I'm in. But we absolutely, as humans, adore human interaction. It's real. It's why we're doing everything we're doing. And so when I'm willing to take 14 seconds of my time to record something, we as the consumer on the other end, we're actually appreciative of that investment of time because we are living in such a fast-paced world where that is the ultimate asset.
Yeah. Wow. And it's like, I went from playing chess with Kasparov, and now I feel like I'm playing ping pong with Robin Williams. Rest in peace. So now that you have the hundreds of people working at the agency, you also have a fund.
Yep.
With the owner of the Miami Dolphins. Is that right?
Yes.
But you're a Jet fan.
Yes.
And these are mortal enemies.
The Patriots are my mortal enemy.
Well, we all hate the Patriots. That's easy to do. I mean, they're cheaters, right?
100%.
I mean, they just cheat every year. That's the problem with the NFL is you cheat and you win.
I mean, that's life, unfortunately, in some pockets.
You would hope, though, that the NFL had some way to mitigate the cheating.
Not when the owner of the Patriots puts the commissioner into his position. We're going to lose that game. It's during the deal, Steve Ross bought a piece of VaynerMedia, and we created the fund.
Got it.
And in the negotiations, he actually offered a piece of the Miami Dolphins. And me and AJ sat there, and wow, right? Really cool, fun headline. But we obviously clearly passed, and then I converted it into my brain of, okay, wait a minute, what a great fucking headline where dude takes Miami Dolphins money and buys the Jets with it.
That would be killer. Right, if he makes you enough money to buy the Jets, that would be pretty cool. So this is a $30 million angel fund.
25.
And you just started in the last year, right?
18 months ago.
18 months ago. How many investments are you doing? What's the pace like? What's the check size? What are you looking for? Tell me everything.
What we're looking for is to make money, right? So I have no interest. Basically, my angel career did really well, right? So I'm trying not to change my behavior. And so, what I'm looking for is my belief that there's something there, right? And so for example, right now with a 20 billion, Snapchat, and 11, 15 billion Pinterest, 20 billion Airbnb, it makes a ton of sense why so many people feel like that's insanity. I sit on the curb and say, you know what? I really think that we're still just in the beginning of all this. Now, do I know if there's going to be a terrorist attack? Do I know if Wall Street's up to its fucking shenanigans? I don't. There's certain variables that I don't understand. But if you ask me if things are normalized, will these companies, as leaders in the new economy, be worth those things? Absolutely. And so I want to look at late stage that way. Early stage, I'm very focused on jockeys. I've lost a lot on the right idea, but he or she wasn't the right jockey. So I'm betting more and more every day on the person.
Right. So if they have an idea that's
shit,
well, I was going to say like it needs improvement. But an amazing jockey with a shitty idea or a good jockey with...
So in my Angel days, it was worth the $25K if I thought Ricky was going to be awesome, because I said, fuck it, Ricky's going to throw this in the trash, but as long as I'm in Ricky's network, somewhere along the line, Ricky's going to make money. That's a winner. So I did that. And at some level, I didn't want to change that behavior, even though the check sizes now are 150 to 250.
Right.
So I've absolutely made 4 or 5 bets on Vayner RSC side where I'm not so sold that it's going to work out. I mean, there's one female entrepreneur that I'm obsessed with. She could have fucking punched me in the face and stabbed me with a fork, and I'd be like, I'm in. Because
right.
I know she's gonna win, and her idea's solid, but she's 100% gonna win.
I love LeadGenius so much, I invested in the company. Then I asked them if I could use the product. We started using the product. Then they started getting clients from me using the product and me tweeting about how awesome it was, and then they decided to sponsor This Week in Startups. How great is my life? I invest in a company, I use the product, they wind up supporting This Week in Startups. It's like, it's all this big flywheel. And why did I invest in LeadGenius? Because the sales process is extremely inefficient at the start. The start of the funnel is when you send that first email, when you qualify a lead, and you don't want to have your top sales executives, the ones who really are the closers, doing all that work. Let's call it menial work. It's like repetitive, menial tasks. I got to go find a contact. I got to send them an introduction email, et cetera, et cetera. I got to clean up the contact in our database, whether you use Salesforce or Tout or whatever you use. All of that is work. And you know what? My sales team for the Launch Festival and for This Week in Startups comes to work every week with new leads and new emails inside their email box and inside the contact management database. They don't have to do all that work. They basically start every day on third base. I'm going to probably cut their commissions based on this, actually. Now that LeadGenius is doing 75% of the work, I'm going to just send LeadGenius 75% of the commissions, and I'm just joking. Right now my sales team is spitting out their coffee. But we did this thing called reactivation. We had like maybe 50 people who weren't calling each salesperson back. What they did was they looked at those 50 people. They found 3 more people in each of those organizations, and they sent them feeler emails. Hey, the launch festival's coming up. We'd love to invite you to come. Here's some background. Here's the companies that have launched. If you're interested in this, let us know. We'd love to have you as a partner. So you're stuck with 50 contacts. You can't get through to the right person. They then expand it to another 150 people, and they send the first email. And then the sales executive comes in, and there's email replies from the clients they were stuck on. It's so genius. That's why they named it LeadGenius. I've explained exactly how it works. I mean, the stuff I'm telling you right here in the text here is super easy. Fewer poor quality leads, more time selling, more revenue, you get that. But it's easier for me to just tell you how it works from my heart, from the desk of the CEO. I love this company. I invested in this company. They are geniuses. Go to leadgenius.com/twist, and they will give you an audit, a critique of your sales process, not just your lead process. They are going to give you a critique of your entire sales organization. If you're a CEO or founder, or you're the VP of sales, there's nothing to lose. LeadGenius.com/twist, LeadGenius.com/twist. Do it right now. LeadGenius.com/twist. Who doesn't need more clients? Okay, let's get back to the amazing episode.
And how do you tell, like when you're looking at somebody and you're having the conversation, what triggers, I wonder, because I have my own, but I'm wondering what yours are, when you're talking to them that you get these tells like,
I think everybody's prejudiced to how they, your nurture-nature environment, right? I grew up a DNF student, right? I failed all my classes.
Yeah.
So I often push against a lot of great exits because I'm like, oh, Ivy League, fuck you, right?
Yeah.
Like, I am straight hustle, and so like if somebody is like bleeding out of their eyeballs because they don't sleep and they hustle, I'm like, ooh, I like that.
Right.
You know, a lot of times I've made those bets and they were fucking idiots even though they hustled 24 hours a day and I lost.
Right.
You know, I'm trying to calibrate that. The truth is, I don't think it's any different than when I went on my first date with my wife where I was like, this is it, and I still kind of try to go with that. Like, I think in some ways, look, Jason, the first 3 things I ever put money into were Facebook, Twitter, and Tumblr. I've gotten progressively stupider as time has gone on.
That's a rough first 3 at bats.
But they were a little later. They were all, you know, Facebook was 2009, so that was already played itself out. Twitter was fairly early in 2007, 8, right? And Tumblr was its B round, but just to show you how much it's changed, Tumblr's B round was $14 million valuation, right? So like,
that would be the size of the A round.
That would be the size of some ridiculous angel deals that are running around. So like, you know, I think that back then, I wasn't an investor. I was just trying to like look at things and say, oh, this would be good. I'm trying to force myself back to that place, but it's difficult because so many new things have happened.
Let's talk a little bit about media. You've done some TV stuff, and now we've seen YouTube come to full, you know, they've come full circle. I mean, it's
what my whole first book was about.
Exactly. What do you think is going to happen in the media space where we still have networks doing okay, we have movies doing good?
The cost of entry to be in the media game is almost non-existent.
Yeah.
And so I truly believe that every person's face that I'm looking at right now is in the media business. I think every business is in the media business. And I think with the cost of entry that we're looking at right now, that as people start realizing that impact and how much that can impact their business, we'll see people's behavior change. I think a lot of Fortune 500s and startups will start having kind of chief media agents, editors-in-chief from founding teams because it will be such an important variable of success going forward. I also think anybody that has heavy infrastructure and heavy costs for acting slow in media right now, like it's a ticking time bomb. I mean, these traditional media companies have such big problems because they have such overhead on something that doesn't provide value anymore in the actual marketplace in March 2015.
Yeah, so big news organization, massive buildings, massive studios, and people go out with a phone and record something more interesting.
And you know what pisses me the fuck off is this, which is, I think that all of us in this room, like I wake up every morning trying to put myself out of business. I'd much rather put myself out of business than have somebody else do it.
Right.
And what you're looking at with a lot of big media companies is they're holding their collective breath, right? They're like hoping, and the truth is, and I knew so little about corporate America because it was all entrepreneurship into this agency shit, right? Yeah. Their interests aren't aligned. They're just holding on for 3 more years for their bonus, and they don't give a fuck about month 37. I mean, if you're half smart, you realize shit's about to fucking hit the fan, but they don't give a fuck because their next 24 months, they just need to keep the stock price or the numbers in place, and they'll let the next gal or the next guy hold the bag, and that's why big fucking companies go out of business, Jason.
And it's why there's so many great opportunities. Yes, it's such a great opportunity here. I mean, when people are wondering when Microsoft or some
We're
other
not
big
that good. It's that they're so bad.
Yeah, some big company's going to come in and actually change everything. What are your thoughts on AngelList? Because you think you have a syndicate? Have you used it yet?
I've been lazy with that. You know, the AngelList syndicate thing hit just as my fund hit.
Yeah.
And I'm still trying to learn what the fuck I'm doing there. And obviously, you know, the shiny thing, and it's cool, and I've got the leverage to be able to do it.
Yeah, I think people would want to invest alongside you.
Yeah, I mean, look, you know, the darn honest truth is that, you know, you can't be first and deepest mover in everything. Mm-hmm. The timing didn't line up with what was going on in my life. Yeah. I just haven't gone deep.
And we're in a couple of things together, I think.
Yes.
Stowaway.
Which I'm super fucking pumped about.
Ooh, Stowaway. Talk about that investment.
Well, you know, about 4 years ago, I looked in the mirror and said, how am I going to buy the Jets, right?
I did that about 20 years ago and said the Knicks.
And literally, I did. I said, you know, I talk a big fucking game. Am I going to be able to do this? And I said, I have to be self-aware. I have to figure myself out. I'm not like a lot of people in this room. What can I do that will make me win? I'm not Zucks or Ev or Saka. That's not who I am in my DNA. So what I realized was I felt that my best chance of winning was to buy a brand a historic brand, you know, Surt's breath mints, British nice sneakers, you know, an iconic brand from maybe 10, 20, or 30 years ago, and market it in the things that I believe in that are going on now because there's such a big arbitrage.
Right.
And so
You bought Mini Cooper.
No, but that's the
That's the
thesis,
thing,
right?
yeah.
The reason I built I'm not building VaynerMedia because I want an agent. You know, Jason, you know how bad fucking agency business model is?
Oh, well, you have a lot of employees. That makes it, by definition,
shit.
horrible.
It's really tough, and
Yeah.
clients, and it's just fucking, thank God I love HR, otherwise you'd want to kill yourself, right? So the reason I'm doing it is I've collected so much IP and all these other things to allow me to I made a 10, 15-year plan, this is this period, and I'm willing to eat shit for 5 to 7 years to put my skills in the best position for me to succeed, and that's why I'm doing it.
So you're learning a ton from the agency business, but you're going to apply it to companies like Stowaway, or?
Well, you're starting to bark up the right tree. So it's not that I'm learning a lot, it's that I'm trying to collect as many people as possible. And so the agency allows me to do that. Now I have 500 people, 33 of which are pretty like in.
Yeah.
You know? And to me, that's the biggest value ROI of the last 5 years of my life, that people are being affected by my POV and my infrastructure and my strategy. I'm learning from them. We're becoming family, and we're going to go and do it. So when I invested in Birchbox, I invested in that. First, I thought the two gals were they're unbelievable operators.
Yeah.
I was blown away that people weren't more into that deal.
Right.
They've gone to execute. But I also wanted to learn direct to consumer because what a lot of
You
people—
mean Stowaway or Birchbox?
Birchbox.
Birchbox.
Stowaway's under the same model,
Got
right?
it.
Like anything that's direct to consumer that I can learn from on the investment side while I learn distribution from the traditional way and I intermingle that IP, like I said early, the middle's the magic. I think people break up into black or white camp, quant, qual, data. You know, everybody's got their thing, and I'm just such a big fan that the magic happens in the gray.
Yeah.
It's just a little bit of this, a little bit of that. And so it's kind of like wine. You know, like the best wines oftentimes are blends. It's not 100 Cab, it's not 100 Merlot. And so Stowaway is just a great opportunity for me to continue to learn because I have Stowaway, who's marketing and trying to build a brand, marketing in the way that I believe, and then I have L'Oreal as a client who's spending $700 million a year on print advertising.
Print.
Like, you know, page 197 in Vogue, because we're all really going there and fucking consuming it.
Yeah.
And so,
I love page 196 through 200.
And so Stowaway fits into my thesis of what I'm up to over the next decade.
What else are you excited about in the portfolio?
Button.
What is Button? We don't
Button
know. Tell me.
is really creating. So what I also realize is, and I see it.
Don't worry about it.
What I also realize is consumers hard and B2B has been really good to me.
Yeah.
So Button's a great platform that connects apps to be able to talk to each other. So
Yes, I know this.
So I'm really excited about that. Look, I think for me, before I ever talked to anybody, I had a 10-year career of building a retail business. Then I had this 4 or 5 year window where shit got crazy, which probably allows me to sit here right now.
Yeah.
It's been very important for me to take a step back and be an operator again,
Yeah.
and remind myself why I even have the time. This chapter of my career was to build infrastructure around human beings.
Yeah.
Build real long-term, 15, 30-year things. The things that are most exciting to me are the startups where, of the 50 that I think we've done, 40, 50 at Vayner RSC, it's the 20 to 30 that I'm like really in the back of my mind saying, I think I'm gonna have a 20, 30, 40, 50-year relationship with this person.
And when you look out at the space, where do you see yourself in 10 years? I mean, you are a man with plans. What is your hope if you get this fund deployed? And
I don't give a fuck.
yeah,
I really
you
don't.
feel like you won already?
I feel like at some level I won already, but honestly, the truth is, and like I'm sure this is being recorded from all angles, so I want my kids to see this one day.
Yeah.
I just love the process.
Yeah.
Like as long as I'm able to as long as I'm able to keep playing, like I just want to keep doing this. Like I want to keep waking up at 4 o'clock in the morning and flying here and doing this and then flying home and hustling and but while I'm in a great place where I still am able to allocate a lot of family time and take more vacation time than I used to, I just want to keep playing. Like I made a funny video. This might be a good thing to end with. I made a video about 3 years ago where like I held up a newspaper to prove the date, like I was a hostage, right? And I said, look, I just want this on the record so I can show it in 20 or 30 or 40 years. The day I buy the New York Jets is going to be the worst day of my life, because the process of trying to buy the New York Jets is my oxygen.
Yeah. Wow. Let's hear it for Gary Vaynerchuk. Awesome.